to another episode of Colton High Screencasts. I'm your host, Mr. Dollins. For most of you, our SpringBoard textbooks probably look like drab, boring workbooks with thin sheets of paper that's hard to erase and that ugly blue-on-gray appearance that looks more like a bad photocopy than a professional publication. Well, thankfully, the folks at SpringBoard have provided each of you access to your textbook digitally. SpringBoard Digital is a place to see your textbook, work on assignments, listen to text audio, get practice on important skills, and take quizzes. So let's get started looking at this great resource. To begin, you want to open up into your class link and open up your SpringBoard textbook. From there, that'll take you to the SpringBoard login screen, which goes through the Clever portal for district access. Once you're there, you're going to see your menu screen. As you can see, you have several options to choose from on your menu. Here, you can look at your textbooks. Over here, you can look at your calendar and assignments. You can here check your progress reports. Here, you can look at workshops. And in this section, you can look at the reading labs. We'll talk about that at a different time. So to get started, let's start with where most students will want to go first, and that is their calendar and assignments. When you click on your calendar assignments, you will see what your teacher has assigned you. So as you can see here, this particular student has been assigned a couple activities by Mr. McKay, his English teacher. Here are 2 homework assignments that have already been submitted and a third one. Over here in this area of the lesson plan, you can see that the student has a workshop that's also been assigned, which we'll take a look at in just a few moments. And up here at the top of the screen, you will see that there is a actual assessment assigned for the student to take after they're done with their work, so that way they can do a quiz. So let's begin by taking a look at the assignments. By clicking on the assignment, will take you directly into the textbook where the assignment is. And as you can see here, this is in lesson 5.2 of the freshman textbook. And so right here, as you scroll down the screen, you will see activities that are complete will be marked complete. It will tell you when the homework is due and what your score was. Then as you scroll down, you will see where your assignment is. When you get an assignment, the first thing you want to do is you want to click on this plus sign here. This plus sign gives you options. You can either start typing text, you can submit a link to a website, you can submit a link to a file that you want to share, or in this last one, you can actually draw pictures. We'll take a look first at just adding text. So as you can see, there are here, this is a writing activity that asks you to read the first 4 lines of the Shakespeare monologue up at the top. When you click on this, it'll open up a text box for you to be able to start writing your response. Obviously, you're going to want to write something a little bit better than this. So once you're done with that, you save it, and then you click Submit to Teacher. It's just that easy. Back in your activity calendar, it shows a little check mark knowing that your teacher got it. When your teacher has time to look at your work, your teacher will ultimately send you back a response like you saw on the other activities. If you want to go into any of these things, whether it be a workshop or whether it be a assessment activity, you just click on the link and it will take you there. So let's take a look at the textbook itself and the different things that you can do with that. To do so, you click on the textbook link and you select your textbook. If you have ELD access, you also can use your ELD textbook from this website as well. So once you're in, let's take a look at the text. So as you go down with the textbook, you'll notice that you have access to all sorts of vocabulary words that are highlighted. You click on them and it'll show you over in the margins. You can even click here to have it read you the word in both English and in Spanish for some of the words that are here. You also have access to a little audio file here that will play the entire audio for you so you can actually hear it, which is pretty nice and helpful. But you also have other tools. For example, you'll notice here that this is highlighted. If you wish to highlight, all you have to do is highlight and then it'll pull up a pop-up list. So you can highlight, or if you're doing an annotation activity, you can choose to mark the text. You can circle, underline, question, offer your exclamation mark reaction, or offer a comment. In this particular case, we're going to just put a comment on this one. So that means that there's something we want to say about it. So if I click on this, now I can go down here and even create a sticky note for it. So with the sticky note, it pops up and I can say 7 ages. A lot. And then I can even move this around on the page by clicking on it. Oh, actually that shrinks it down. I'm sorry, my bad. but you can shrink it and size it up. Now, when you go back here to this, as you can see, you had a lot of options. You can change colors of your highlights. You can change, add the sticky notes. You can create definitions, or you can even clear what you've done. So if you don't want to see it again, you can do so. Now, over in the side margin, you have a lot of choices. You have a table of contents, which allows you to select anywhere you want to go in the textbook by activity. All you have to do is click, and then you can scroll down to whichever activity you want to use. You also have a running notebook. Just like you have the sidebar in your textbook that allows you to write your notes, you have the same thing here as well. As you can see, it actually keeps track of what your responses were to questions, your highlights and annotations, and those sticky notes that you create. You can also add a note to the activity itself just by clicking on the add an activity note, and then you can save it. And so that gives you a chance to keep track of your reading and your ideas and thoughts about the reading, which is a pretty cool thing for this. Then you have your search. So if you want to do like a search of anything that's within the file itself and what you've done, you can print this, and then you can set your own preferences for how you want to do things. If your teacher has highlighted some things and lets you know that you need to look at some of the teacher's highlights, you can always turn that off and on. All right, we're almost done here. The last thing you want to see is how you can get around in this site. Number one is you can get around by always clicking on the home to go back to your home page. But if you want to go somewhere else, like let's say you want to go to the reports page to see how your grade is looking, you can always click reports. You can go back to your student calendar, you can go to workshops, or you can log out. And so that's a good other form of navigation here in this application. So with that said, that is SpringBoard Digital. Feel free to mess around, go in there, take a look at your textbook, highlight some stuff, add some notes. If you're one of the lucky few whose teachers are using SpringBoard Digital, make sure you get those assignments done and check it regularly. Otherwise, just use the app to be able to help you to keep track of the readings that you have to do for class. And that's all for this tutorial on SpringBoard Digital. See you next time.